Human rights activists say that the law is intended to violate human rights as well as suppressing media freedoms.
It's draconian, it's unconstitutional, and we have decided, just like we petitioned against the initial act, which has been amended, we are also going to petition the Constitutional Court to seek a declaration that this act is unconstitutional.
However, government spokesperson Ofono Opondo says that some journalists have for long been subjective.
A hostile narrative that section of the media and government critics, especially in the political opposition, are trying to use. It is not the first time. The Computer Misuse Act is simply targeting people with criminal mischief. Any law can be abused by the government, and if the government wants to abuse you, it does not require to have the law first. It can abuse you with or without the law. And therefore, this law, the main purpose of this law is to protect the broader society. You who wants to use the computer and the internet and social media for good purpose, there is no reason why you should worry.
Opondo says whatever government does is done in good faith.
Let us not just look at we who are communicating. This law is talking about you penetrating my computer and stealing my secrets. It could be innovation, it could be patent, it could be my business secrets. You could steal my code, you could steal my PIN and withdraw my money. Is this the country that we want? But let us also look at developed countries. In 2020, Facebook and Twitter banned Donald Trump. In Facebook's case, it banned him permanently. Twitter suspended him indefinitely up to today. If this can be done in America, why do we think in Uganda we shouldn't have it? Only a month and a half ago, President Obama actually brought a suggestion and said social media needs state control in America.
Nakaseke South Member of Parliament Lutamaguzi Samakula says politicians should not make laws to silence those who criticize and expose them.
The infrastructures countrywide are all not functioning. There are no medicines in the hospitals. Those are things we should have legislated other than going for what I call myself political bling. This law is only going to benefit one individual, that is President Museveni and his cocoon of people. However, because Ugandans are always funny, they think that when such a law passes, it won't catch up with them, because I know it will also catch up with the person who brought it, including those who seconded him in the House. Because if you have, you have a system, you have enough laws, why can't you use such laws you have such that it can be the one who's used to punish those whom you think have erred?
The law was fronted by the Kampala Central Member of Parliament, Muhammadi Insereko. If anyone is found on the wrong side of the law, the offender will either pay 15 million Ugandan shillings or serve a 7-year jail sentence, or both.
In regard to the Computer Misuse Act 2022 continues. Of course, this comes at a time when the President of Uganda, His Excellency...
Human rights activists say that the law is intended to violate human rights as well.
We petitioned against the initial act, which has been amended. We are also going to petition the Constitutional Court to seek a declaration that this act is unconstitutional.
However, government spokesperson Ofono Opondo says that some journalists have for long been subjective.
A hostile narrative that section of the media and government critics, especially in the political opposition, are trying to use. It is not the first time. The Computer Misuse Act is simply targeting people with criminal mischief. Any law can be abused by the government. And if the government wants to abuse you, it does not require to have the law first. It can abuse you with or without the law. And therefore, this law, the main purpose of this law is to protect the broader society. You who wants to use the computer and the internet and social media for good purpose, there is no reason why you should worry.
Opondo says whatever government does is done in good faith.
Let us not just look at we who are communicating. This law is talking about you penetrating my computer and stealing my secrets. It could be innovation, it could be patent, it could be my business secrets. You could steal my code, you could steal my PIN and withdraw my money. Is this the country that we want? But let us also look at developed countries. In 2020, Facebook and Twitter banned Donald Trump. In Facebook's case, it banned him permanently.
Those were some of the members of parliament as well as different legislators weighing in their concerns and insights in regard to the Computer Misuse Act 2022. Now, the Uganda Computer Misuse Act was enacted back in 2011, and that was in a bid to enhance safety and security in an increasingly digitalized environment. Well, the bill was tabled by Kampala Central Member of Parliament, that is Honorable Muhammad Insereko, and was passed by Parliament last month and provides a jail time for anybody who shares and sends information, offensive or hate information. Well, according to Article 91 of Uganda's constitution, the president has about 30 days to either assent or reject a bill that has been put before him. So today we're going to be weighing in on the Street Jobs too. We're going to be weighing in on the mixed reactions. And today, seated with me is none other than Mr. Patrick Mulindwa, and he is the ambassador of UG Digital Transformation, as well as the CEO of Youth Entrepreneurship Spark. Good morning, sir, and thank you so much for joining us this morning.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely.
I expected to meet all the ladies, the squad that you usually work with, but I've been cheated. I've been cheated by the producer but anyway, I'm enjoying the warm reception with you.
Okay, well, you'll be able to meet the ladies behind the scenes. Well, Mr. Mulindwa,
Yes.
Today we are here to talk about the Computer Misuse Act. And the reason why we're talking about it now, of course, we want to weigh in and look at it on both sides of the coin, looking at the opportunities that could come along with it, but also looking at the threats. As we have already seen in a story that already played on our screens, some parliamentarians came out to say kudos to the president,
Yes.
while a section of the public feels that this particular bill will curtail their freedom of speech. So as an ambassador and of course a CEO of Youth Entrepreneurship Spark, what are your sentiments on the Computer Misuse Act 2022?
Lovely. Thank you so much. I've been following since morning when I came and you unwrapping this.
Okay.
It's basically causing so around the country. People are discussing this, and I'm loving it. As a digital transformation ambassador, I've always wanted a moment like this. 10 years ago, I had overseen quite a number of stuff. I had overseen money, non-physical money. These were happening in other countries. I had overseen, I had seen people buying food on phone, delivered. I had seen e-education, e-learning, and all those things 10 years ago. And there's this unique picture I saw 10 years ago of it was from China. And it was at a street, and people were not talking to each other. Like, you see a shot of around, let's say, 20 people, let's say, imagine along Kampala Road, and everyone is on their phone. So I was like, how, these people are so selfish. How does everyone be on the phone? So it looked nice because, I mean, the phones, the smartphones were not here. It looked very nice. And I couldn't wait to see this happen in my country. And thank God it is happening. But it's happening with wonderful stuff now that we can do so many things that we were not able to do. But it's also happening with a lot of implications. Cyber crime. I mean, people every day losing money. There's always a thinking that you cannot be a victim. There's a thinking, because if you can imagine how many people have gone through cyberbullying, young ladies who are depressed.
Yes.
And some of them actually lead their way into it. You're looking so good.
Thank you.
I mean, you're looking so good. Top, everything here. Now, there's a young lady you went to school with, and she has not yet had the advantage you've had to be ahead in the profession, to be on a TV.
To be given a shot at life.
Yeah, and they're probably not dressing like the way you are. So they're not getting the nice pictures to post on their Facebook and Twitter, Instagram. So the two people who went to the same class don't look the same, okay? So that alone is depressing them. It's a good platform, but it's causing so much, good and bad. Now, the Computer Misuse Act, a number of us who knew, were reading within the lines, were very happy and were looking forward to this to happen. However, there are a number of things that were not, it's a surprise, they were not catered for. For example, I expected, the Computer Misuse Act is not a new thing.
Yes.
It's a 2011, as you've been reading through. But, and then it's not the one, it's not a one-off, it's not the only one. There's the Data Protection Act, which is a new one also.
Yes.
I think around 2021. There's Electronic Payment and Payment Systems Act. That is also a new one, 2022.
Absolutely.
That was at the interception of separating telecoms from the money, because telecoms had become banks.
Yes.
You could borrow money and banks were like, oh, come on. So would telecoms still be regulated by UCC? Because then there were telecoms. They were providing us voice and call and receive phone calls and send messages. But they had become a money company. So they had to be separated. And now UCC had to lose their babies, part of their babies, to Bank of Uganda. So there are about 4-3 laws in the space. So what we thought the other laws are not we want to be able to cater for, we thought it could actually be catered for here. And one of them is, have you seen young ladies? I don't know what happens to them. I think some of them even commit suicide. When they were in love with a guy and it went bad, Very few ladies have actually come out to say, I will throw your pictures and videos to shame you. But men have done that, Now, personally, and a number of people thought this would actually come out to bite, okay? Though, it talks about taking images and videos of someone without their consent. And you share. But it should be explicit on that, very clear, that any picture of a woman shared by you, if she shares her pictures, that's another story, because there are ladies who have been looking for a following and put their nudes. That would be another case. That would also have been clear, because, Uganda we have a culture here
where we do not promote pornography.
Of course. So thank you so much. And you remember, so this would have been clear. This we don't expect you, but it's good. It comes out clear with videos. You're not allowed to share any information about kids. It's good. And I pity a teacher. I saw a teacher who does nice videos on TikTok with their kids in class. And I'm like, oh, if one parent is like, I want to bring down that school, she will use this one, because the kids don't consent. But a number of things, if you ask me, what do I make of the law? Some things are actually wonderful. They're very wonderful. But for me, people are losing money. And the digital economy is crazy. It's not here to serve anybody, okay? It's here to play. To make money, you either use it to your own advantage or it uses you. If you want to know how many people have lost money and they don't know how to start it, the beauty is government has put up structures. You have police, which is cybercrime units and all that stuff. But if you look at the level at which people are losing money, it's crazy. So I personally thought this would come out very clear, that the issue of cybercrime, issues of losing money on mobile money, on bank, because now bank accounts are integrated with mobile money. And there's so many things. People are buying online. People are no longer working with cash. You won't find thieves properly to snatch your wallet anymore. Okay? But now you have thieves who don't even live here. By the way, most of the cyber crimes that have been committed, especially those of money related, the perpetrators do not live here.
Yes.
Okay? So what I make of the law is it is lacking. Thank you so much, everybody who thought, we need it, we need it. All countries have needed it, all countries that are responsible, intentional, because you know what? You know that oil and gas is a big thing. The internet is such a big thing. And if you want to know that what everyone is buzzed in Uganda about oil and gas, it's a wonderful thing, it's going to change lives. But internet of things, big data is a big thing. Bigger than anything you could ever imagine.
That is true. That
because
is
true. Today, I want to end it here and take me wherever you want us to go.
Okay.
But the Computer Misuse Act, to Parliament, well done. It's a nice start. But please, what happens to citizen journalism? I mean, it's wonderful. Stories of women who have been battering kids.
Exactly.
And then we see videos come up and they're like, oh, mchado yo wa oyo. Then police actually follows people's videos, and they get the people. And the funny thing is, police never even rewards these people who actually set up the stories to encourage the kind of practice.
Because that was actually what I was going to, and it's quite interesting because we were talking about it before we started the conversation and went on air, and you were saying when it comes to aspects such as investigative journalism and citizen journalism, I mean, some of these cases of women battering children or children, you know, being bundled and cooked in on firewood, we wouldn't know if there were citizens not having their phones and taking videos. But hey, guess what? Even when this particular lady goes to jail and faces her jail term of maybe 10 years for the crime she has committed, that means when she comes out, she can sue me because I posted her video without her consent.
She can, so much she can. And then the other thing, do you have enemies?
Absolutely, I do.
So,
of course I do.
Every one of us has enemies. Okay, so now, the lady who you helped to get convicted, I mean, you took a lady to prison.
Yes.
Because she was doing bad. And what happens is, somebody who is your enemy, and at times it's political. Let's say one day you want to run for a political office, and someone knows that you actually took someone to court because of this, and whatever they were doing was not right. They were battering a kid, okay? They can easily go around the other person and say, hey, by the way, do you know that you can actually take this person and I'll be interested? You don't need to do anything. Just write here, sign here, and say you are putting up a case against this person. So your enemy pursues you through somebody. Now, that is all crazy. The other thing is, you've talked about it, investigative journalism. You don't need consent to get proof on certain things. And I know, like you've said, before you actually justify your motive in court, you are in Chitalia. You've lost part of your image, you've lost your job here, okay? And nobody wants to know. The law, like I said, it's a nice start, but honestly, Parliament and to Mr. President, with due respect, sir, we can have conversations about this thing. What happens is, where we are going, this is a Bazukulu economy. The Bazukulu economy is a borderless economy, okay? It's wonderful things that a number of our judges and grandpas and so many people, senior in age, with due respect, do not actually understand where we are going. So, whatever we have, because imagine, the potential and opportunities we'll talk about, most of them, you've got 2.8 million Ugandans on social media. Those are people within the age of 30 and below, young people, okay? If you ask me, what happened to young people who lost jobs, had shops, selling clothes? The young ladies who sell to you wearables, the tops and everything. In COVID, they had no shop. They actually closed. And possibly, I want to think now they are chasing you and following you up on WhatsApp.
Still online, yes.
Thank you. Now, this space, one of them was asking me yesterday, he's a border guy. He does furniture. And he's like, man, I heard about this thing. Can I still share my things? And I'm like, boss, you should. So
you have mentioned, just to cut you short, you've mentioned so among the threats, and it was actually among the questions that I was going to ask, this Computer Misuse Act 2022, what threats and, opportunities does it present? Of course, you've mentioned one of the threats.
Okay, so let me start with the threats. because it looks like it's a big threat.
Okay.
Everyone is okay, but there are wonderful things in there. There's nothing in life that is 100% bad. So if you can't read, ask somebody to understand it for you, like a lawyer or even someone who appreciates tech and all that stuff. Now the threats is you have an economy, you have a digital economy, which existed before COVID, okay? But it wasn't so much. Ugandans were not sure that you can actually study online and get a degree, or even study a course and actually get a course, get a certificate out of that. Many Ugandans, even at the inception of mobile money, did not even believe in this thing. Where does the money go? Like when you're sending me money, where does it go?
Like through the air.
Like somewhere. So you can imagine what the telecoms, specifically MTN, and kudos to MTN, by the way. These guys brought us into the future, okay? And by the way, mobile money was an engine, an innovation of Uganda. Okay, so this didn't come from Muzungu, or it came from out. It was an innovation of Uganda. We were very ahead of the Kenyas, everybody, Nigerians, who were first in mobile money. That is wonderful. Now, when we went into COVID, businesses closed. Everybody was affected equally. When businesses struggled, big and small, struggled to exist, the very first, simplest option was, can we maintain our marketplaces? It was Facebook. You post your stuff on Facebook, people see it, and they say, can you deliver? Now, delivery, which is logistics, was the next big thing. But that guys can't move. Luggage, okay, some of them can move, but you don't have a permit. But I have somebody wants to buy 10 units of a solar panel. Good money, but they're in Mukono. Self-border could move. You know, self-border was there. People thought this was a luxury of people like you, looking nice and people who speak English. So self-border was there. But in COVID, it kind of like ceased to be a preserve of the educated.
Yes.
It became such a way of life. So you could buy your stuff, order your stuff, the seller gets it on a border and a self-border, and it's delivered. And what was in there was safety. You didn't know the border guy, but the system. Okay? You trust the system, the platform. So you deliver the stuff. The next third thing was the terms of payment. How do I get my money? Okay. Does the guy pay? Does the buyer? Because the buyer wanted to see the stuff before they pay. Do they give it to the self-border guy? So your stuff was safe with the self-border guy until the buyer sees the stuff and approves. Then you say, put the money on mobile money. Now look at that. That saved lives. It saved lives. It took people to hospital. It fed families. It kept houses going with bills because there was business when we were in the lockdown. Yes. So the threat of the law is you have so many people who don't know what is happening. The same economy, a digital economy, has raised new jobs of influencers. I want to think you have a brand you're influencing.
Absolutely, yes.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
What's the brand?
I cannot mention it because then that would be free advertising.
Okay. Now, you earn some money. When did you get that job?
When
of influencing?
Back last year, beginning of last year. Actually,
COVID. Okay. So businesses understood the value of getting somebody like you to actually take pictures with their brands who have a following and post it on their social media. Now, that is a new business. And you are a million of so many. And I'm talking about you ladies' age. I can't ask your age. You're young, okay? So you must be below 30, okay? Obviously. Now, there are so many young ladies like you who are earning from this. It was not possible anywhere 5 years ago. True. Now, they don't know law. Ugandans have never understood law. Even me, inclusive. So many things until I got into tech. I read only the tech laws. The rest I don't understand. Now, how many Ugandans, especially young people, talk about the digital economy, understand the law? A number of them already have been disconnected. They're like, they don't even know what to share. A number of young people have gained traction on social media by actually playing character of certain leaders. There's a guy who plays president. He's a comedian. Yes. So there are so many of them. Now today, Man, it's crazy. They fear. They fear. So that's a threat. The other threat is citizen journalism. We've talked about it. It's still young people. Okay? It's still young people. A number of them are journalist students. Okay? They'll go pick up stories. They really don't know what is happening. They'll go in a community, get stories. None of them wants to get into to end it to Chitalia. And a number of them have interest in different sectors. Some of them like politics. They'll pick and want to discuss about politics. Okay? And the misinformation is one of the things that were highlighted in there. Yes. Now, their motive is to grow. The motive is to grow. You know, when your kid is driving a bike and they fall down and they fall into the glass and the glass breaks, you take them to Chichalia. You don't. You help them because they're learning to ride. So, you have, now, it's so funny that you have P7 kids using phones at home. So someone was asking me, so they will go to Chichalia because of this law. Exactly. The 7 years. So the thing is, the digital economy, the cyberspaces, the internet is here to stay. Governing it, we've got to be intentional. Like we've done on so many things. You know, you just don't pick up things, cook them, and then throw them there. They'll bite, and they'll bite everybody. Before you know, they're biting one of yours. Okay. Okay.
So with that said, let's look at some of the opportunities that the Computer Misuse Act 2022 has to offer.
Okay. Talk about the opportunities, children. I don't know if I've heard so many cases about children, but of course, children in Uganda are anybody around what?
Below the age of 18.
18. The young girls, definitely, who, I don't know, look nice, photographers take pictures of them and share them. They gain them traction of nice photos and all that stuff. And so this is a child. They look nice, yes, it's their own bodies, everything is theirs. So you're not allowed to share their images. So when you look at the opportunities, I don't know, the opportunities I think outweigh the threats outweigh the opportunities because I'm struggling now. Okay. I'm struggling to find the opportunities. But I think now there's a chance for anybody who is like, people have been doing so much to gain traction on TikTok. You wake up and talk about me, and talk about, I know where you come from. You know, they talk about old stuff. That is not true. So the opportunity in there, I have now a chance to take that person to court. That is the opportunity.
And make money.
You could make money or clear my name. Some people are going to make the money. Okay. Definitely. So that is the opportunity. What is the opportunity in there? Cybersecurity, the laws are sufficient. Like someone was saying, was this a duplication? The laws on cybersecurity are sufficient. Our problem again as a country always has been putting the things in practice.
Okay. Yes. So now let's switch gears and take a look, because everything we have been talking about here ever since we started the conversation is basically looking at an economy or an era that we are living in that is completely going digital. So first of all, let's break it down for a viewer. What is a digitalized economy? And as Uganda, do you think that we have reached a level where we are actually fully expressively taking up being a digital economy and putting it to good use?
Thank you so much. Now, the digital economy is a worldwide network of economic activities, transactions, and professional interactions. Okay. And they are facilitated by the information communication technologies. Now, that is what it is. To those watching CTV, a number of you are watching TV on your phone. This was not possible 10 years ago. Now, it looks like, you know, when stuff comes, you want to think, we don't even remember. Do you know the first phone in Uganda, a mobile phone? This is not a mobile phone. It's actually a smartphone. So a mobile phone, kekatochi, those phones came to Uganda around 1995. And again, thanks to Celtel, which amalgamated into Zain, and then we went to Airtel, where we are. Okay, so this MTN has mothered this country. You know, at times you say, give them Bulango, but give them credit. Okay, they have mothered this country into where we are. Now, 95, that's when we get the first mobile phone. It could only call and make calls and receive calls, maybe text. And it was extremely expensive. If you have a grandfather or mother, ask them. how much it was. It was so much. And you could pay for literally everything. You could pay for, and messages were expensive. You had a service fee of a monthly. You had lots of staff who were very young but were actually watching. Fast forward, things have changed. Entry point, we get there, the smartphone. Now the smartphones have got quite a number of wonderful things. They can call, they can receive calls, but they can access internet. Internet then was the preserve of internet cafes, where we used to go. There was a Lotus at Kampala Road. A number of you that are not so old. We are not so old, but we are, kind of like, we've been seeing what has been happening. So I remember going to Lotus. I was a very young boy, moved all the way from Salama Road, and I wanted to see what internet was. So Lotus was around Watoto Church. That corner that goes to, down there was a Lotus, internet cafe. The only one in Kampala. Go there, pay some money and scratch. So that was it. Now moving forward, we have a smartphone. The phone can actually communicate. It started killing down quite a lot of stuff. Okay? So before we knew, the people who are selling scratch card for airtime.
Yes.
Can you find any? Can you find my scratch card for airtime? Did you see any?
Yes, I did see. I
Where
was lucky to find some here.
Where did they go? They actually, people who had, these were jobs for people. They are not anywhere. So it's two-way. The digital economy creates opportunities, but it buries quite a number of them.
At the same time.
At the same time. The other thing it has that is very unique, it's automation. Okay? I see cameras here, but the cameras are actually literally running themselves. It is me, for those of you watching, it is me and this lady in the studio. There's nobody behind the camera. Where did they go? Before we had cameras and you couldn't run away with them, like away from them. So you needed to be there. So we had the scratch card. That was a job. It's not anywhere. People used to sell internet. Banks were kings of money. Banking halls had tellers. These were jobs. Where are they? Mobile money came in. Okay? When mobile money came in, banks were like, oh, we need a competing product. Agent banking. Agent banking can be done anywhere on the street.
Yes.
Okay? So the jobs of tellers reduced. Now you're in a banking hall, you can actually be served by 2 tellers. Nobody's building big, huge banking halls anymore. No. So, did you ask, where are we? I'm giving an analysis of
Yes.
Where we are.
And where we have come from.
Where we've come from.
Yes.
So, so you see, agent banking, bank halls are becoming smaller. People who are studying to be bank tellers, please, I don't know. I think there's also a discussion on future of jobs. Please don't study this course. Don't even dream to be a bank teller. Think about anything, a different thing. Because now, the banks are just on the street. You have one person, a bank agent, running like 6 banks on like a small thing. They don't even have a big shop.
Yes.
Okay? Now, so we went to there. Banks, people used to line up and pay school fees. Are you guys still paying school fees by a bank teller? No. Almost every school has a merchant code. At the pleasure of wherever you are, the school calls all the fees. You say, I'm going to do that now. I'll pay now. And you pay. Bills. Growing up, we had these people from Uganda, electricity, something. They would come. Very many. I remember they used to have like a crowd of guys coming, doing all these things. We've come to pick money for electricity.
Yes.
Do they still come? Where did they go? Those jobs are gone. At the luxury of my whatever I will be, I'll pay for national water, I'll pay for electricity,
Yes.
I'll pay for CTV to watch it.
Okay.
I'll pay for anything, literally anything. Okay? Now, where we are now, the markets are on phone. The bills, electricity is here. Schools are here. You can actually pay for school fees here, but you can also study here. What happened in COVID? Who are watching us? What happened in COVID? Kids were
Studying online.
They were studying online. So today, if water was the biggest bill you are paying for, you're also paying for internet. So all those jobs, boom, they left. All those people who used to make money. Like even the people who are registering kids for national exams, I'm told now you have there's a digital system. You name,
Yes.
bam, all those are gone. This is the last year that is the last year today. This year is the last time they'll ever make any money from that. Now, that is where we are. Are there opportunities? Enormous opportunities for those individuals and companies that saw this early enough and strategized. And above all, there was a learning curve during COVID. Banks.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. I know you had highlighted some of them because you mentioned automation, but
Yes.
what are some of the technologies
Yes.
that drive a digital economy?
Okay, lovely. Now, for those of you who are watching us and you may not understand what some of these techs are, you could still Google. You have this. This is a wonderful
Tool,
device.
yeah.
Very, very much. It could have you educated on almost everything. Now, the key technologies of the digital economy, 21st century way of doing business is IoT, which is Internet of Things. You have these devices actually being able to talk to themselves. You know that you do farming now, like you could do farming anywhere. Because you could have your small garden, wherever it is, and punch up cameras, okay? After punching up cameras, that's now physical. Integrate it on your phone. You could see the status, physical, video, real time.
Yes.
Now, in the cases, because you see now the rains are a bit bumpy. Like today, it will rain. Tomorrow, it won't. Then tomorrow, it will rain so much. If you're doing tomatoes, that is really dangerous. They will get flooded. Now, what happens is, if, let's say, the water levels, because for every kind of agriculture we'll do, the science is that there's a certain water level that is required, or level of humidity or whatever. So, before, we could not have any entry. All these were myths. Okay? These were myths. So we didn't know how the lumonde grows. How does the cassava grow? Which type of soil, by the way? Our ancestors knew a bit of it, but they could not actually carry it on. We couldn't learn it. Everything today is predictable. This data. So imagine a small garden, which is wired by a few sensors. These sensors can actually tell that, hey, by the way, we are losing the humidity, or we are losing the kind of water levels that we actually need.
Yes.
Okay? I've taken that far a little bit, but I'll bring you back to the very easy of homes. So they'll communicate with devices that are connected to, let's say, the irrigation system. And before you know, oh, the heat is becoming too much here, and it's irrigating. Fast forward to something that we can easily understand is the systems in the houses. So when I enter my house, what I want is, I don't want to switch on lights. I just want my house to know that I've come back home. So my sensors are connected that when I open the door and the system confirms with a fingerprint, it reads my face that I'm the one back home, they know that at 7, this is the kind of light I want. And they'll switch on the light, blue. You've heard
blue.
about
Yes,
blue
yes.
light in the evening, you know. You've heard about Siri?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, Siri, do for me this. So they know that at 7 when you come back in the evening, you actually want to take a coffee and you love watching CTV in the evening. So when you enter, they'll switch on your light, favorite light, blue. They warm out the water because you usually want to take a warm shower or bath in the evening. And then they'll actually get your coffee maker ready. And then they'll prepare through the schedule on DSTV and get your favorite program from CTV highlighted. That's IoT. Okay? So there's social media. And I think I wanted to bring this very first because Internet of Things is quite something really very crazy. Social media. When we came here, it was a preserve of young people. And everyone's like, it's not. Does CTV have social media channels? Is it a young thing? It's no longer that. So almost every organization, plus government, where does the president do his official communications first, apparently? Isn't it his Twitter handle? So social media was a preserve of young people. But very fast, it has not even taken 5 years. It's been rated official. So the key drivers of tech drivers of the internet of the digital economy, social media is actually coming out very, very fast.
Very strongly.
It's facilitating the access of information very fast.
Okay.
Very, very fast and affordable. Okay? Because then I needed to watch a TV to know what the president has said. Now I don't. Okay, it's real time. And it can stay there. I can still visit what the president said last week or whatever, and I'll get it. Okay? So the other thing, it has become so easy for anybody today to launch their business to we have 2.8 million social media users in Uganda. Those can actually be your market. If you figure out what the 2.8 million people
want,
consume every day,
yes,
you can actually sell to them every day.
Okay.
Because they are using a smartphone. I know that 2.8 million social media users use water. And that's why companies like National Water, those companies are so big. Did you take some water? Did you use water in the morning? Every one of us use water every day.
Oh, you used milk.
Okay,
so Mr. Malindo, as we wind up the conversation, because time is not on our our side right now, let's look at the future. And of course, looking at the digital economy, let's look at some of the future jobs that have been availed or that will be availed as we slowly transcend into the digital economy. Okay.
So the future of the digital economy or the future of jobs is two-way. Number one, the digital economy is going to require a leadership, company leadership. That number one is keen to stuff. Like you see, you watch what is happening. The leadership and employees who are innovative.
Yes.
Okay. So because there's almost a digital on almost every field. There's digital in agriculture. There's tech in broadcast, because TVs are now here. Because the TV sets are no longer having market. So the jobs are kind of like changing, where, like I've said, like I said early in the conversation, there's a lot of unemployment. It's going to be a lot of unemployment, a lot of it. So you must be, whatever you're doing, if you're studying health, if you're studying agriculture, or if you're championing to be a broadcaster, you're championing to be a journalist, I want you to make sure that you check out how much tech is in your sector, because that is going to be very, very important. Like you see on our CVs where we used to write, English is an added advantage
yes,
of French. Oh, digital is called digital literacy. Check that. Digital literacy is going to be everything. For you to get a job now on BBC, if you are to leave CTV, let's check your following. What's your influence on social media? Did you study that during your course?
Yes.
It was called what?
Social media management.
Yes.
You
did?
Yes, absolutely.
Which university?
Uganda Christian University.
This university should be rated number one. They are so ahead.
Yes, we did study it.
Social media.
Management.
These guys, and now that is what it's, the future of jobs is going to require you to study what is relevant.
Okay.
The jobs today, people have crazy jobs, wonderful jobs, like I say. Social media managers are earning 10 million a month. Where top engineers of organizations are not, where doctors are not. And I'm not saying that any of those, their services do not need to be rewarded. But somebody who takes you, because everyone is fighting to get into the audience of people. The numbers we've talked about, the 2.8 million. The data managers, those jobs are going to be very key. So the 21st century digital economy is going to require you to reset your skilling, because you could be in school studying something that's going to be irrelevant in the next 2 years.
Then that means the schools also need to update their
so
syllabuses
much
to best suit the acts and the bills that are being passed in Parliament.
Because you know what? The kids in school need to know the bill.
Absolutely.
Before they become victims to this.
Okay.
But reskilling is going to be very, very, very key for anyone who wants to remain relevant in this, in the 21st century digital economy. Everything's going to be digital, like I've said here, and it's not going to take too long. 5 years ahead from Uganda, we won't have cash money. Okay.
So finally, as of course the last question, and I beg your pardon, your final remarks, because you know we do not have time. So your final remarks in regard to one, a digitalized economy, but also the center, what we're looking at, of course, looking at the Computer Misuse Act 2022.
My remarks for all Ugandans that are watching us, it doesn't matter how small your business is. It could be a young person trying to launch yourself from a garage. Like all these tech companies that we know, Google, YouTube, Facebook, and all of them, Microsoft, started somewhere. Apple started somewhere in a backyard, if you could read around. I want you to know that we are not going back. I want you to know that it could be easy for you to access market if you knew how to utilize social media. It's key. Okay? People are not going to come back to your shop trying to window shop. They're actually going to window shop on your social media channels.
Yes.
Speaking about Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, do you understand how to utilize that? Now, for companies, a number of companies are taking too long to do the easiest things like having a merchant pay money number, you know? And if you come back and see how access to finance, because if I'm to initiate a bank transaction now, it will take hours. But if you have your account integrated to merchant, to a digital, you have a bank account, you have a digital account, and it's attached to your mobile money merchant, it's so easy. You can pick money in a minute and have it, and have a team to go to the field. Now, that is it. Automation, especially in agriculture, in manufacturing. All businesses have to now look for a digital strategy. Beginning 2020, COVID was the neutralizer. That is the last time every one of you said we won't spend money in digital. That's the last time. Companies closed. If you want to know companies that closed, where is Kodak? You know, if you are a driver of taxi, Safe Border has introduced a taxi. You know,
safe car.
Your safe car, okay? Now, a number of you who are there waiting for clients to come, we don't want to come.
Okay.
I will be in my house and I want the border or the car to find me at the door.
At the doorstep.
That is the convenience. That's the value for money. So please, companies, you must have a digital strategy. Individuals, launch yourself with a digital strategy of as simple as social media. And the rest is, I mean, going out of business is going to be very normal. Like, it's going to happen.
Okay.
If you think you're special. The other thing is, don't forget that the thieves you've heard, like bag snatchers, people used to snatch bags at the street, they have now gone on cyber. And the other advantages I could hint a bit is you're no longer looking at the 46 million or 47 million Ugandans. With the digital economy, we have no borders.
You're looking at world over. But Mr. Mulindo, apologies to cut you short. It has been an amazing time having you this morning on Sunrise at Sea. And of course, we do thank you for coming and sparing some time.
I want to meet the ladies again when I come back here.
Absolutely. They'll be here for you. Well, that winds up the conversation that we had for you this morning on the Twitter Jabs. And I was speaking to Mr. Patrick Mulindwa, and he is the ambassador of UG Digital Transformation, as well as the CEO, that is the Chief Executive Officer of the Youth Entrepreneurship Spark in Uganda. Otherwise, we do thank you for being a part of the conversation. Up next is Our Views, and on Our Views, Priva Elibas will be talking about naming and shaming. This is Sunrise at Sea. Good morning.